Hello everyone, this is Walter Hazard, and for this video I'll be doing a director's cut of the Warlock Who Bested the Titan cinematic project. Now this is part of my new series in where I talk about, my thought process on like certain projects and, what it was like working on it with the actors and just, editing it and all that type of stuff, really. And today, like I said before, we'll be looking at the Warlock Who Bested the Titan cinematic, and let's just dive right into it. And so, before I even talk about the cinematics themselves, I just want to talk about like some of the principles that I had to work around with, and I made sure that the cinematic was going to be a 2-act story, and I'll explain that later on. And I also had to make sure that it had to be as as compact, but it also had to make sense in a lot of ways. Alright, so I started off with the sequence relies heavily on audio. Headphones are recommended, which they definitely are. And then we started off with this coding type stuff thingamajiggy. Now, that came from, to people who read the grimoire, there is this, when they talk about Crucible games and all that, they always do this like specifying type thing where they talk about what parties are available, like what the classes are and where they are, and if the audio is available and all that. The only thing I added was the initiating live combat feed. That was the only thing I added. But out of all of that, like the type, parties, associations, that's all for like grimoire stuff. So if there are any grimoire readers of Destiny who watched my video, I really do hope they appreciate that small little detail I added there. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. We see a Warlock, Titan. We are on Icarus, Languid Sea, Colors Basin, Mercury, and audio is available. So let's dive right into it. Now, opening shot, it was very challenging. Because I had to do two things. Like the basic principle around the first opening shot was this: have an establishing shot, and make sure that we can see the main character, the character we're going to be following for the cinematic, and just make sure we can all do that in one shot. And I remember sleeping on it for long periods of times, and I just came up with this really like relaxed dolly shot as we just go down and we see the Warlock coming into frame and walking, like running out of it. And so what it does really is it shows off, the sun, which kind of already indicates that we're somewhere on Mercury, and then we see the Warlock and running into the frame, running outside of it, boom. So we got two things in one shot, and that was really important to me because, like, especially for a cinematic as short as this, you just want to, get in, get out. You really want to like just understand what's going on. Okay, cool. This is going on. Okay, cool. We move on to the next part, and to be able to do this was definitely a benefit for me, especially working on it in post. So yeah, 2 shots in one. Because like also, I'm just adding this on here. As I did like in the earlier weekend recap intros, I used to do those like those text cards where I show like for example Icarus, Mercury. I was gonna add that, but since we already kind of knew where we were going, where we were gonna be, I thought it was gonna be redundant, so I just left it like that. And plus I kind of think it looks cleaner in a way, so that's kind of why I did not do that. But yeah, that was like the first shot. It was really hard for me to get it for me to really understand how I was going to like shoot this, but I think in the end it all made sense, and I think Asian, who played the Warlock, did a very, very good job there. I mean, all he had to do was run, but the timing kind of was a bitch sometimes, but he made it work. We made it work, and it looked great. Alright, and so moving to the second shot, it's like a direct continuation of the first one, which is like, the Warlock walking into the frame, walking out of it, and we continue, man. We just go straight to it, and we go first person. And now, the thing with this was, like, I wanted the viewer to know that this is the main character, we're following him, and I wanted to confirm that by going into first person, and which kind of, adds that more gritty and visceral feel. I just wanted to emphasize the feel that this is the main character, we're following him, and it's going to be lit. So that was the direct continuation of the first shot. We're running, Warlock is running in first person, and yeah, we're going here. And now on to the third shot, and this is by far my favorite shot of the whole cinematic, in my opinion. It's the revealing shot, and the thing is, the thought process behind this shot really was to tell to the viewers that there is a Titan up there. He has a rocket, and he's probably gonna kill the Warlock. he's gonna kill the Warlock, no questions asked. And I really want to create that very like, oh, look around the corner, there's a bad guy there, watch out. You know, I really want to like, you know, alert the viewers of being like, there's a guy there, and he's dangerous. You know, so watch out. And I think the best way to do that really was to like visually do like a rotating, revealing type shot where I go around cover and we see the Titan, and also like on an audio level, kind of add like that zing type of sound effect to make sure that, you know, people actually know that there's a guy there and he's probably gonna kill that guy. You know, so that's kind of what I was going for. Okay, I don't really know how to start here, but the thing about that shot, like, by the way, that shot was completely unnecessary. It was not needed at all. But, like, funny story, I was recording the sound effects for the Sound and Fury, which is the Wrath of the Machine rocket launcher. And there is this perk that activates when your magazine is completely dry and you reload really fast. It does that very, like reloading, recharging sound effect, and I was like, yo, this is so cool. I need to implement that in the cinematic in some way. And I tried to be subtle, but I think I failed miserably at this. And so I went with the shot where I record like the Titan, which was played by Tasha. She did a great job. And I like kind of like pan from Suros to the Siva. And like with the Suros, we know it's kind of like, you know, it's like materialistic, and like, you know, we have like normal gun sounds, and with the Siva we add like that sound effect. And it was like I just had to like make sure that I had that sound effect in the cinematic. Don't ask me why, it sounded cool, I just wanted it in there. Okay, leave me alone. Gosh, yeah, that's kind of what I was going for, you know, Suros and then Siva, and then boom, rocket launcher fires. And so the Titan fires, and we see like one, and I wanted to really add like one last glimpse of what it would look like from the Warlock's perspective as he breathes his last I can't speak, as he breathes his last breath, you know, as we can hear it as well, and he just dies. he did, man, he did. And that's the end of the first act, pretty much. You know, we have introduction, we have, you know, the good guy, the Warlock, we have the bad guy, the showstopper kind of, and he fires a rocket, black screen, boom, that's it. And now, when I was working on this, I first worked on the visual part, so only video. Audio came later. The reason why I was talking about that was that when I was like doing that transitional phase between Act 1 and Act 2, I made sure that there was at least a 2 or 3 second black screen or just pause, so that the viewer also could, like, you know, catch his breath and like kind of absorb what had just happened. You know, the Warlock just got demolished, to be honest. So I made sure that, you know, the viewers had, like, you know, some breathing room for what was about to, you know, happen next. And I had to make sure that there was a distinct contrast between the first act and the second act, right? The first act, the opening, very smooth, like dolly, like, you know, camera movement. We pull back, we see the Warlock, you know, it looks nice, looks smooth. And second act, we have this very shaky, like, breathing sound of, like, heartbeat sound effects. We hear the ghost and everything. It's very frantic, and I wanted not to just add that audio like feel, but also visually with the camera, with the shakiness and all that. So I really wanted to add that franticness, really, and just crank it up to 11, really. So that's kind of what was the thought process behind this, because it was not only that, it was like, how do I really make Act 1 different, that much different from, you know, Act 2. And that was kind of like, you know, what I thought of. And so this is what we finally got. And also another thing really was the breathing, along with the heartbeat, right? I wanted to sync it up a little bit, not too much, with the fade in and fade out. Also with the Sunsinger logo, as we see later on. And just to, like, I don't know, add some flow to it, you know, not too much, but, you know, like just a little bit. And then we see the Titan dancing like a bitch. Jesus. And then here we see the Sunsinger logo. We see the Sunsinger logo kind of fading in, fading out. And also one thing I want to say real quick, this was a rushed project. It was in no shape or form refined in any way. Like I worked on this like for a day, and that was it. I was like, hey, well, gotta go. You gotta move on to the next project, because like I had a lot of stuff. I was working on a lot of stuff around then, and I still am, but I had less time to like kind of refine some of the things I wanted to refine, and I didn't have any time to really work on it a bit more, so I kind of had to like leave it like that. And so I kind of for this Sunsinger logo, which I thought was going to take me a lot of time to do, it didn't really, because I kind of like reused some of the assets I used for the Grim Citizen intro cinematic, where we kind of did the same thing but with the Voidwalker logo. And so I kind of used those assets, ported them back to this project in After Effects, and kind of used those settings. And yeah, we saved a lot of time, and stayed on target really. And so that's what we're seeing here, fitting in and out with the heartbeats and the breathing. And the last one, and boom, we're back. The Warlock is back to life, and there he is. Titan's trying to shoot him down. Warlock's not having it. Titan goes like, "What?" And that shot, like, I really wanted to get, like, it was hard. It was really hard to, like, find a way to make sure that the Titan was surprised. I had to find a way to make it so that the Titan would be like, "What?" Like, he would be like, "What's going on? I shot him, but, like, it didn't do anything." Like, I really want to add that that emotion, really. And in video games, it's kind of hard, because it's not like in real life where you can just like make up emotions and do like gestures, because you're not really like controlling a character, you're controlling yourself. But like in a video game, that's kind of the opposite. You're manipulating a character on a screen. And so when I told Tasha to unzoom, I remember her being confused, like, why would I do that? Just trust me, it's gonna work out. It's fine. And yeah, I don't know why I mentioned that, but I just had to find a way to make sure that the Titan was surprised. He was kind of like, "I shot like 1,000,000 bullets and you're still standing? What are you?" And I think in a way it kind of worked out, but yeah, there goes the Warlock rushing in and making an end to the Titan. And he, bested the Titan. He wrecked his ass. He got shot down by a rocket launcher, came back to life, absorbed 1,000,000 bullets from a Vostok rifle, and gave the Titan a very strong palm, a burning one. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of my thought process around the whole, cinematic edits. I'll just reiterate real quick once more. The basic principles really was to keep this as short but as action-packed as possible, and work around the 2-act structure, and make sure that I have some type of conversation with the viewer, with the shot where we see like we reveal the Titan for the first time, or when we like transition from Act 1 to Act 2, and all those types of things. And I think it's important really to have those types of conversations or relations with the viewer, even though you don't really know, if you're actually going to be able to, reach them. It was a gamble, I'll say that for sure, but I think it worked out in the end, and yeah. So this was my first episode of the Director's Cut, where we talked about the Warlock who bested the Titan cinematic. I hope you guys learned a little bit from this. I don't know. I hope you guys did enjoy it though. And if you want to see more, please let me know down in the comments or on Twitter or whatever. You can contact me at, and I'll be sure to do more. And with all that said, we have arrived at the end of the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it and stuck around. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving the video a like and maybe even subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, well then give it a dislike. But that's been it for me. I've been Walter Hazard, and I'll see you guys on the weekend. Peace.